AWA Championship Wrestling. The AWA presents the greatest stars in professional wrestling, bringing you the best in mat action. This first match is a tag team battle. First of all, to my left, from Houston, Texas, he weighs in at 225 pounds, Alex Knight. His tag team partner from Los Angeles, California, weighing in at 260 pounds, Sally Ruiz. Their opponents, one of the most exciting tag teams in the AWA. First of all, from San Antonio, Texas, weighing in at 240 pounds as he makes his way to the ring, Shawn Michaels. His tag team partner from Columbus, Georgia, weighing in at 240, Marty Jannetty. Together, they are the Midnight Rockers. Your referee for this match, former heavyweight boxing contender, special troubleshooter referee for the AWA, and currently director of fun at Jukebox Saturday Night, Scott Ledoux. Down to ringside, to Lord James Blears and Rod Trongard.
Well, thank you very much, Larry Nelson and Lord James Blears. It's been a while since you and I have touched base. It's very, very nice to see you again here in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Showboat.
Thank you, and it's great to be here, Rod, and I know we're going to have some great matches and some great action and great talking for the fans in the wrestling world.
The Midnight Rockers, as they are referred to, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. It is Marty Jannetty in right now against Alex Knight, a 225-pounder out of Houston, Texas. And suddenly, Jannetty is on the wrong side of town, but he gets away and rips away to the head of Alex Knight with a forearm smash, and you've taken more than one of those, and you know that they can create a few stars.
Well, these young men are going to be scarred up a little bit as they get older, but right now they're young and they're handsome and they're tough and they don't care whether they get hurt or whether they hurt their opponent. They're in there to win and get a reputation, and they already have a reputation all around the United States, if not the world. They're well received wherever they go, and you can see them working as a team. Watch this.
And very, very quick. Oh! Drop and an elbow smash. The actual toe hold takedown was by Jannetty. The elbow smash followed by Shawn Michaels. And look what Shawn Michaels has in store for Alex Knight. Power body slam. Hook of the leg. A count of one and almost three here in the opening minute of this match.
The mark of a good tag team, of course, as you know, Rod, is tagging in and out. Don't be the man who wants to win the match yourself. If you get in there and keep tagging in and out, you're on full speed at all times. A lot of wrestlers are individualists, and they do not make good tag team combinations. These two young men do.
They are indeed extremely colorful, extremely quick, extremely dynamic, extremely talented, and what a drop kick that Shawn Michaels just administered to Alex Knight, who says enough is enough, and he tags in Sally Ruiz.
We have a little bit of a Donnybrook going on here. Here it is, the tag is in. Watch this. Bingo, he's going to rip the arm up the back. One of the most punishing holds in wrestling, the hammerlock. A sweeping leg takedown. And we have the referee standing by, Scott Ledoux.
Scott certainly can keep law and order in that squared circle if anyone can. There you heard the groan of Marty Jannetty.
Okay, Marty Jannetty covers his man. It's a 2 count. Bridging out. That's the best part of a wrestler, is neck. You have to have a big, good, strong, powerful neck. And all you young wrestlers, work on your neck. Make sure. Beautiful reverse. Okay, work on your neck. That's the important thing. You never broke until your neck's broke. Remember that.
Uh-oh, what do we got going here?
Oh!
What a shot by Shawn Michaels. And it was Sally Ruiz paying the the price, and Michaels very quickly tags in Marty Jannetty. Look at it work. Their timing. They work together extremely well. Watch this. That should be all. 1, 2. Wow. How Sally Ruiz was able to get out of that, I don't know, but credit the young man with great resiliency and being in excellent condition, and he was able to do so. He tags in Alex Knight.
Right, and Alex Knight comes in. He's a bit taller than these fellows, but there's a nice drop toe hold. What a wrestling. Speed. These young men, 220, 235, they'll be anywhere from 220 to 230, 235, and they know all about wrestling, amateur wrestling, and now, of course, professional wrestling.
And you have Alex Knight administering knee drops in punishment to that left knee and also the quadricep and thigh area. However, Marty Jannetty is very, very quickly back to the attack. Check this out. Body slam, tag. In comes Shawn Michaels. Michaels picks up where Jannetty left off, and very quickly Jannetty is tagged back in. Michaels comes up. Watch this.
Oh, I can't believe it. 2. It's all over.
What a combination. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, stopping the clock of Alex Knight and Sally Ruiz. These two are indeed sensational, to say the least.
Rod, they sure are. You know, you think that you've seen everything in wrestling. I've been around for 50 years in the ring, and that was something I've never seen before. It was a dangerous move, but when you're young, you're full of vim and vigor and danger they are. Fantastic move. Will we see this in slow motion, Rod?
We are going to be able to take a look at it in slow motion. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty teaming up to get the pinfall here on Alex Knight and Sally Ruiz.
Here it is. Look at this. Watch it now. Can they do it? Look at this. Oh, no. Bombora. It's all over. Sayonara. The slow count, but it's really a normal count. Slow motion. The winners, Midnight Rockers.
Hi, guys. What's going on?
Buzzword bingo.
Buzzword bingo?
These innovation meetings are killing us.
The hype, the jargon.
The buzzwords.
Every time you hear one, you mark your card.
In short, we are 100% committed to facilitating a culture of out-of-the-box, goal-oriented, value-added, disruptive Web 3.0.
Bingo.
Every day is a new chance to show the world how phenomenal you can be. Start today with the confidence you get from Gillette Fusion Power Phenom. Fusion Power soothing micropulses help you reduce friction so you barely feel the blades. Try the world's most comfortable shave, Fusion Power.
The best a man can get.
And that's what it's like to be a spy.
Hey kids.
Hi.
I'm not a spy or anything. My wife and I just own the Dairy Queen up the road, and I thought I'd make you all blizzards today.
Yeah!
He's making blizzards!
It's a tough act to follow. The new Tin Roof Brownie Blizzard. Chocolatey covered peanuts and chewy brownie pieces. And also, be sure to try one of our Blizzard cakes.
What could that be? Oh, wow. No, I'm there for you, buddy. That was Brad. He really wants to vent.
You should go.
Ready to vent? Let's vent. Let's vent.
Let's vent. Introducing the vented wide mouth can from Coors Light. It lets in air for a smooth, refreshing pour.
Is he okay?
I think we'll be venting a little longer.
Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Looking more and more impressive every time out. Another victory for the Midnight Rockers. First of all, Marty Jannetty, you guys are on a roll. Congratulations on the victory tonight.
Thank you very much. You know, that's what the Midnight Rockers call taking care of business, what we just did right here in the ring. And we've been taking care of business all over the country, everywhere the AWA goes, against a lot of top tag teams. And in recent weeks, we beat a couple of top contenders for the world title, and we're jacking ourselves up the ladder. We got a long way to go, and we know it. But we're taking wins everywhere we can get them, every town we go to. And a lot of teams, I've heard the Midnight Rockers love to party, get with their fans and have a good time. But when we talk about getting in this ring, taking care of business, We talk about getting down this ring. The Midnight Rockers can do as good as anybody. And we're letting you know everybody's on the top of the ladder. We're coming after you. It don't matter who you are. There's a lot of top tag teams, you know. The Sheik's Army, anybody he puts together, he's got a lot of talent in that army of his. Like them or not, they're a good team. He puts any team in the ring here, it's a good team. But we're going to mow them down one at a time. You know, he's got another team it seems like they're unbeatable. Brody and the Barbarian. Both of them well over 300 pounds, 6'7". But the Midnight Rockers are not going to be intimidated because we can move around, we can wrestle, we got to do what we got to do.
There's no doubt about that. You got the job done tonight, Shawn Michaels, and looking for tougher competition.
That's right. You know what? Two guys have been a phone of our size are Playboy Buddy Rose and Doug Summers. You know something? You two guys have been trying to upset the Midnight Rockers for a long time. Well, Playboy Buddy Rose and Doug Summers, we are going to go right through you and straight to the top. Because I tell you what, the World Tag Team Championship is Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels' goal. And like Marty said, there are a lot of top teams. Doug Summers and Buddy Rose, you guys are next on the list of the Midnight Rockers. And then after that comes the Sheik's Army. The Sheik's Army, you guys are all big. You're all 6'6", 300 pounds. Well, neither one of us are 6'6", and neither one of us are 300 pounds. But I'll tell you what, we'll take it to you like nobody's ever taken it to you before. And a lot of people saying the Midnight Rockers are taking too much time for having fun and having parties. Well, I'll tell you what, we never do it until we take care of business. And when we take care of business, Sheik's Army, Buddy Rose, Doug Summers, we're taking care of you guys, and then the World Tag.
They're coming after you, the Midnight Rockers. More action after this.
Welcome, Coach Bob Knight.
Nice to be here. How are you doing?
Ouch. 902 wins, 28 tournament appearances. If there was a basketball Mount Rushmore, you'd be on it.
Hey, but you know, I see where you guys won the title for best resale value in 2008.
Well, at least one of us is winning a title this year. Oops.
I may not be retired.
Let's cut to commercial.
Before you catch ESPN's live coverage of the Masters, watch the world's top golfers make history in ESPN Classic's Masters Tribute. From Jack Nicklaus's first Masters victory to Tiger Woods' record-breaking triumph at age 21, ESPN Classic presents 5 decades of champions, the greatest Masters tournaments, back-to-back-to-back, in a 24-hour event. The Masters Tribute, Wednesday, 4 Eastern on ESPN Classic.
Guidance system now going internal.
27 program, the fuel level heading downrange.
Astronauts report it feels good. Power transfer is complete. 9, 8, ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The move is about to begin. Are you ready?
The wrestling action at the Showboat in Las Vegas in just a moment or so. Right now it's time for In This Corner, featuring Larry Zbyszko. My name is Larry Nelson. This week's guest, I haven't the slightest idea who it is. You have simply told me we have a mystery guest.
A mystery guest. This is going to be a mystery in this corner because, we had Spudhead Kurt Hennig on last week due to a lot of letters, and I think I've proven my point. We've got, a man getting title shots because his daddy is hunting with Vern Gagne, and people are afraid of Larry Zbyszko. People are dodging me. There are conspiracies against me, and I think that it is time to bring out a mystery guest in my corner. First of all, we're going to have a video. We're going to have a special look at one of the most amazing athletes in the world today, a man who has done everything better than anybody, a legend in his own time.
A wrestler?
Take a look.
right, now that's twice that you've told me you had a mystery guest. Both times it turned out to be a long video of you, and I want to know right now who this is.
This is Go. Go is a ninja, and he is from Japan.
Then let's ask Go, is it?
Really good.
What? Oh, just perfect. So now you're going to tell me he doesn't speak or understand English.
His name is Go. He's from Japan. You know, you rush off to do something, and this is my segment. And the reason Go is here is because he's my training partner. We've been training a lot lately. He's also an excellent, excellent wrestler. He is dedicated to his art of fighting and self-defense.
All right, now
and the art of ninjutsu, of course. I know you don't know.
Let's just
You know
stop
what they
right
are?
there.
Do you know what they are?
I think
What are they, Larry?
Ninjas, as far as I understand, are cultural killers.
They are assassins.
Masters of poisons.
Masters of deception.
Suicidal.
Not suicide.
Can he understand what I'm saying?
The point of this is this. We have got Nick Bockwinkel, who has taken it upon himself to pay off ex-prize fighters who are now bartender thugs. We have, political games being pulled, like again last week. Kurt Hennig getting shots at Stan Hansen because his daddy's hunting with Vern. I've had it. And this man is in my corner all the time. And he is going to make sure that I do not get backstabbed, that I do not get jilted, that people like Scott Ledoux don't come flying in out of nowhere to save
Let's try to understand just exactly what this ninja's function. Is this man to be your second or your trainer, or is this somebody you plan to use to sneak into a wrestling ring when you need
no one ever
help?
sneaks in. This man, he'll be my second if I need it. We work out in the dojo and train. We work out over wrestling and train. He's a great wrestler. He's a great martial artist. He believes in the same thing I do, which is conditioning and preparation and mental meditation for the match. We don't go running through the woods trying to kill a duck before we go into a wrestling match. We go out to the ring and we wrestle. That's
talk
why
about
I
it.
say, Stan Hansen, where are you?
If this man
Stanley
is a
Blackburn.
ninja is a killer.
do I have
Just
to
a fancy
sign?
way
Nick
of
Bockwinkel,
saying
I went through him.
a killer, and that's all there is to it. Zabisco with another trick. We'll be back to the wrestling action after this. A ninja is a killer.
Would you like to lose 10 pounds and 2 inches off your waist, off your butt, and off your thighs in just 21 days? Hi, I'm John Abdo. Do you want to lose fat here, here, and here? Introducing the revolutionary Strike Trainer, the easy, low-impact way to help you burn fat and tone muscles. No machines, no weights. Just hit to get fit.
It works my biceps, my abs, my butt. I just feel it from head to toe.
Keeps my weight down, keeps my stomach really tight.
Strike Trainer's patent-pending strike and spin technology helps strengthen and tone your muscles through low-impact routines. Jab, punch, uppercut. The twisting action helps carve the fat from your abs and love handles. Now lower your Strike Trainer to kick and to knee to work your abs, quads, and glutes. Strike Trainer easily suctions to most flat surfaces and will include the optional Strike Trainer wall mount, perfect for improving your workout on rough or uneven surfaces. Join along with the Strike Trainer instructional DVD or follow the chart at your own pace, and you can get a great core workout in only 6 minutes. Use Strike Trainer anywhere, and it's so light, wherever you travel, you can stay in shape.
I've tried a lot of exercise equipment over the years, and I've never found a better deal than the Strike Trainer.
So stop the excuses. If you want to lose those inches and get the body you've always wanted, here's our challenge. Use Strike Trainer for 21 days, and if you don't lose 10 pounds and 2 inches off your waist, butt, and thighs, we'll give you your money back. There's absolutely no risk to you.
Call now to get your fat-burning Strike Trainer for only $19.95. As a special bonus, you'll also get our Kicking Abs DVD workout absolutely free. But that's not all. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll add 2 more DVD workouts at no extra charge. All this plus the wall chart and the wall mount, a $59 value for only $19.95. Log on now to StrikeTrainer.com or call 800-834-1934, 800-834-1934, 800-834-1934.
Could it be a fairy tale finish for Stanford's Candace Wiggins? Or will Candace Parker lead the Lady Vols to their second straight national title? The Women's National Championship, Stanford, Tennessee. Coverage begins 7:30 tomorrow on ESPN.
The Hustler, The Hot Shot, Tom Cruise, and Paul Newman. Real Classics, The Color of Money, 8 Eastern Sunday on ESPN Classic. Tomorrow on ESPN Classic. At 8, Whitaker battles McGirt in a 93 title bout. At 9, the hottest wheels are up for grabs at the RM Auctions. And at 10, it's survival of the toughest on the original American Gladiators. It's all tomorrow on ESPN Classic.
Boy, you get so fed up with Larry Zbyszko. He snookered me again, as you saw earlier on in this corner, when his featured guest turned out to be himself in his full glory, plus this strange ninja that we're still trying to find out more about. We've got the AWA feature match for you, and this took place in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Hollenbeck Hall. King Hong Brody, suspended in Nevada. This was not an AWA suspension, probably should have been. You saw what he did. But it's only a suspension that is effective in Nevada. The AWA didn't suspend him. He is going to war against Leon the Baby Bull White, an up-and-coming superstar. Brody versus White, our AWA feature match.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. We are awaiting the arrival. I see entering the ring, ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 303 pounds from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, he is King Kong Brody. Along with his manager, Sheikh Adnan El-Casey. And ladies and gentlemen, King Kong Brody's opponent making his way to the arena area. Ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at a tremendous 365 pounds from Denver, Colorado, he is Leon the Baby Bull White. Referee for this bout, Marty Miller.
King Kong Brody against Leon the Baby Bull White, and it's underway. There goes the bell. Adnan El-Casey. Adnan El-Casey throwing in a chair already. Brody coming out with it.
Look out. Sheik is distracting the referee, and Brody's using that chair on the ankle of Leon White.
Well, Marty Miller is showing me a lot of guts taking that chair away from King Kong Brody. There is no more dangerous man in professional wrestling than King Kong Brody.
I was looking forward to this match. Leon has just been unbelievable here in the AWA as of late. Come a long way. Former Ram, 375 pounds. But look at Brody has injured the ankle of White seriously. I don't know if White can continue here.
He got his ankle and his knee, and Leon White is still standing up under it, and now they're toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring.
Leon can't put much weight on that right foot. Ooh, listen to that big chop of Brody.
That is about 685 pounds in that wrestling ring right now. There's that football move we see him love so often, and he can't do much. Got his knee and his ankle. Adnan El-Casey handed him the chair. Brody knew what to do with it. But Leon White is in control. Ooh.
Listen to those chops by Leon. He just can't get any weight on his right foot to get any momentum. The referee asking Leon if he can continue here.
Well, you don't want to have to face King Kong Brody unless you're full speed. But Leon the Baby Bull White has got all the courage in the world.
Oh!
Down. I thought for a minute he was going to be able to hang on, but the knee buckled on him, Greg.
Brody right back to work on that ankle, and he is hurt serious up there.
Well, we all know about King Kong Brody.
You know, Leon had trouble through his football career with his knees and ankles, and Brody and the Sheik must have been standing up on him because they went right after that right ankle and knee of Leon White.
And of course, King Kong Brody will stay on and on and on. But look at Leon White coming back. Ropes. Beautiful. And Brody's about it. You don't see that very often.
You know, the Sheik handed Brody that chair before the match even got underway. Oh, a headbutt by Leon. And another one. And a big shot. Leon still favoring that right ankle and knee.
With that injured leg, he can't get all the force behind those blows, and Brody was able to stay on his feet until he ran into that maneuver.
Leon can't follow up on his moves here. Can't put any force behind those punches. It's hard, Larry, when you're right-handed and you can't put any weight on that right side.
Oh, that should have been a disqualification right off the bat, but the bell hadn't even rang.
Just before the match even started, Sheik handed Brody that chair and he blasted the ankle of Leon White.
Look at the power. Oh no, Adnan El-Casey grabs the leg. Now,
look at him twisting that ankle, and the referee here.
Come on, Marty, get over there.
I didn't even see what happened there. I was watching Brody with the referee.
Over and over and over again, stomping on that ankle and that knee. That is 307 pounds stomping down on Leon the Baby Bull White.
It's unfortunate here, Larry. Leon has really never gotten underway here due to the fact that Brody nailed him with that chair before the match started on that right ankle and knee.
He's trying to come back. Look at that. Give the man the heart. Look at this. But he just can't get the mobility. Brody knows it.
We saw not too long ago what King Kong Brody did to Jerry Blackwell. Jerry Blackwell ending up in the hospital with a torn cartilage in his rib cage, the bruised kidneys, and as a result.
And now what's this all about? They called for the belt.
He can't continue. Leon cannot.
Well, I heard Marty Miller ask Leon White if he wanted to continue, if he wanted to give up. Leon White said no, he wanted to continue. But apparently Marty Miller stopped it on his own, which the referee can do.
Well, the damage was done before this match ever got underway. And like I said, we saw.
Well, here they're coming out to help Leon White. Scott Ledoux, Brad Ringens, Jake Milliman, Frankie DeFalco.
Look at the Sheik trying to control Brody here.
Yeah.
Larry, you're going to have to interview him.
Oh.
Good luck.
Oh, thank you.
Well, as we saw prior to this match ever getting underway, we thought we were going to have a dandy here today. The big Leon White, the Baby Bull, and what he's done here so far in the AWA. And Sheik distracted the referee. Brody took a chair and blasted the ankle and knee of Leon White. Leon never able to get underway. And that put any weight on that whatsoever. Leon had trouble in the NFL and with the Los Angeles Rams. His career shortened by knee surgery on that right knee and obviously ankle injuries. And Brody and the Sheik, knowing what to do, went right after it. Sheik cannot control this man. Here we go. Sheik trying to hand a chair in. Referee Marty Miller going right to the Sheik and trying to get it under control. The Sheik then running around and distracting Miller. Here we go, Larry, and this is where all the damage. This is right at the beginning before the bell ever rang. You can see the right leg and ankle of Leon hanging out over the ring apron. Here comes that chair.
This is you after an energy drink. Unfortunately, so is this. Why do energy drinks make you crash? 1 minute you're wired up, the next you feel worse than before. The answer is large amounts of sugar and caffeine. That's why you should try a new liquid energy shot called 5-Hour Energy. With 5-Hour Energy, you can leave grogginess behind and sail through your day without feeling jittery, tense, or, you know. That's because 5-Hour Energy contains a powerful blend of B vitamins for energy and amino acids for focus, alertness, and better mood. There's 0 sugar, about as much caffeine as a cup of coffee, and only 4 calories. The 2-ounce shot takes just seconds to drink, and in minutes you're feeling bright, awake, and productive. And that feeling lasts for hours. So if your energy drink makes you crash, switch to 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no crash later. Find out if 5-Hour Energy is right for you. It's available at these fine stores. Or for more information, go to 5hourenergy.com.
Your evil army is complete.
Now, nothing can stop me from building my own Capital One credit card.
Activating card lab, sire.
For my rewards, I'll have double points on gas and groceries. And low interest rate. I shall pay my bill online. And I want a picture of kittens on it.
War kittens?
No, just like regular, cute kittens. Baby cats.
Now you can create your own credit card with your own benefits with Capital One Card Lab. Just go to CapitalOne.com/Card Lab. With Card Lab, you get to pick the rate you want and the rewards that fit your lifestyle. Select airline miles or cash back. How about double points on all purchases for the first 12 months? Your card is built for you, by you. So
with Card Lab from Capital One, I have absolute control.
So why wait? Just visit CapitalOne.com/Card Lab to build the card that puts the power in your hands.
What's in your wallet?
King Kong Brody with the victory over Leon the Baby Bull White. Now let's get... I don't like my back turned to that guy.
Don't worry about him. Don't worry about my man.
You gave him the chair.
Go ahead, ask any question you want to ask.
You know doggone well you gave him the chair to use on Leon White before the match ever started. No way was that a contest.
Well, that's one man is out of the picture. Baby Bull Leon White, he will have to put the cast on his foot because he will no longer be operating. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Now, they've been talking about tag matches and championship matches. This is the man right here, King Kong Brody. He will take 2 men at a time, any place, any world. And we challenge the heavyweight champion of the world, Stan Hansen, and my man, Boris Zukov and the Barbarian are ready for the heavyweight championship tag team. Do you understand?
I understand that. I want to know about the chair. If he's so good, why did you have to give him a chair to use on Leon the Baby Bull White before it ever got started?
I'll give him the chair. I picked up the chair. Don't worry about him. He's all right. He's in control. Take a look at him. Do you think that is any man could go in the ring against him? Tell me.
Can you get that chair away from him?
Don't worry about the chair. Don't worry.
Baby, don't worry.
Just stay still here. أنا مهلك. Don't. Now he listens to me. I'm his manager. I take care of his welfare. Do you understand?
Stan Hansen is back from Japan. Any word from the promoters and the championship committee as to where you are in line for a title shot with this thing?
I will issue a challenge to you, Stan Hansen. If you have the guts to put the championship belt against my man, King Kong Brody, because without a doubt, in the eyes of the Arab people, he will be the heavyweight champion of the world. And also the tag team championship. Where are they? Kurt Hennig, Scott Hall. They've been hiding in the closet. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I understand enough. King Kong Brody with a very controversial victory over Leon the Baby Bull White. We'll be right back.
Are you one of the millions of people who think you just can't learn a new language? The problem isn't that you can't learn. It's that you've been using the wrong method. Well, thanks to our breakthrough software called Rosetta Stone, learning a new language is now incredibly easy and a whole lot faster.
I've probably learned more in the first 2 weeks than I have in months of taking formal classes.
Unlike traditional methods that require hours of tedious translation and memorization, with Rosetta Stone you're actively engaged in each lesson. From the very beginning, you'll see real-life images and hear native speakers.
El caballo corre.
This powerful combination teaches you to think in a new language, not memorize, so speaking comes naturally. You'll learn far more easily and more quickly.
I've used a lot of different mediums, the books, the tapes, and bar none, it's the best one that I've ever used.
I was one of those people who thought they could not learn a language, and I needed to learn a language for my job, so I needed to learn Spanish. And I learned Spanish quickly, and I did it through Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone is so fast and effective, it's used by the U.S. State Department, NASA, the U.S. Army, and Fortune 500 companies, and is the world's leading language learning software.
It's almost like having your own person there teaching you, your own private tutor who is just very relaxed in your home with you, sitting there teaching you the language.
Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a new language. And to prove it, we'll send you our amazing demo CD, absolutely free when you call. There's no obligation to buy. Right away, you'll see for yourself just how fast and easy it is to learn a new language with Rosetta Stone.
This really is a great program.
I believe that you can learn any language with this program.
If you're serious about learning a language, there's no easier way to do it than with Rosetta Stone.
Call the number on your screen now and see for yourself why Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a language, guaranteed.
This next match is one fall, a television time limit. First of all, entering the ring to my left, from the Republic of South Africa, 265 pounds, he is Colonel De Beers. His opponent, from Beverly Hills, California, weighing in at 248 pounds, Nick Bockwinkel. Your referee is Scott Ledoux. Now down to ringside to Rod Trongard and Lord James Blears.
And it is indeed a distinct honor and pleasure to work with Lord James Blears. He certainly has been there. He knows the punishment, the power, and everything that it takes to become a championship wrestler. How many years were you in the game actively, Lord James?
Oh, 40-some years. 40-some years. I'll tell you something, Rod. Just recently I was at the Cauliflower Alley Club, a place where all wrestlers and boxers and movie stars who've been in boxing and wrestling movies have a club in Los Angeles, and it was a great pleasure to be there with the Cauliflower Alley Club. But we're right here now in the present time, not in the past. Colonel De Beers and three-time world heavyweight champion Nick Bockwinkel.
We walked into the Showboat Sports Pavilion tonight with Colonel De Beers, and he said, be sure and tell them that apartheid is the only political persuasion that there is in the world. And of course, out of South Africa, he is believing in total apartheid, white supremacy, white man rule, nothing else matters, and he shows it, the disdain for anybody and everybody as he stands in the center of the ring.
Well, if he said that, I've got disdain for him because I live in the Hawaiian Islands right now. Oh, Bockwinkel. Mimicking the Colonel. The Colonel's very annoyed, even though he doesn't show it.
Bockwinkel, the champion, playing a little bit of possum, I'm sure, there with De Beers. He wasn't going to show him his back for very long because he knows what could happen in such situations. Side headlock here by the 265-pound Colonel De Beers, and there's a lot of pressure there.
And the Colonel has a few pounds on Bockwinkel. They're actually evenly matched. Bockwinkel knows all the basic moves of wrestling. He learned them from his dad, Warren Bockwinkel.
A knee to the solar plexus of the three-time AWA heavyweight champion of the world, and a side headlock and a hip lock takedown, and flat on his back is Nick Bockwinkel in the grasp of Colonel De Beers.
And of course, wrestlers, you wonder what happens. Why don't they come out and finish it all off in a few seconds? First thing you do when you wrestle is you go out and you try and find if your opponent has a weakness. You find out how long his arms are, how thick his neck is, how about his legs. Is he a good leg wrestler? You're doing all this. You're analyzing and putting him through your computer, and then you find out the best moves that you can make with that particular wrestler. Every match is different.
This, of course, is the AWA, and week in and week out on ESPN, month after month, year after year, This is where you find the roughest, the toughest, the meanest, the most scientific, the most popular wrestlers in the world today. Nothing tops or stops the American Wrestling Association. And the action is devastatingly powerful in the center of that ring. You see the expression on the face of Nick Bockwinkel as Colonel De Beers continues in that side headlock.
Nick's trying to bull his way out of this. At this moment, I would like to make a big announcement, Rod, on June the 28th. There will be a live ESPN special presentation from Oakland, California, the old Oakland Auditorium. There'll be the ESPN champion, and he will be crowned on that big live wrestling matches on June the 28th.
And it's going to be my pleasure to be in Oakland to call those matches, and that match in particular that Colonel De Beers has just been talking about. Right now, you have Nick Bockwinkel shaking his head as he has taken a lot of punishment from Colonel De Beers. Vintage apartheid, vintage South Africa.
And Bockwinkel nearly had it there because it was a double leg Nelson. A leg sweep. Bockwinkel takes a step over toe, jumps down on his man.
And that can tear a knee apart very, very quickly.
And the Indian deathlock. Very rarely seen. Oh!
Forearm smash, Bockwinkel to the head, and he has the Indian deathlock as he has Colonel De Beers' leg tied up, legs tied up. And every time De Beers pops up from the canvas, he's smashed back down by the forearm of Nick Bockwinkel.
Well, this is a match that it's worthwhile flying 5,000 miles to be able to sit and watch it and narrate it and be with you, Rod. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure, Lord Blears, is all mine, believe me. All of you who are wrestling fans should have the opportunity someday to meet the man who is sitting next to me and giving you the expert commentary, the expertise, inside look at what's happening inside the ropes. And that, of course, is Lord James Blears. Right now you have Colonel De Beers having grabbed a hold of that bottom rope strand, and they have to break the hold.
Okay, they break. Bockwinkel takes advantage. He didn't break a rule, but he was real quick off the clock.
Absolutely showing no mercy. Attack, attack, attack is now the credo of Nick Bockwinkel. Look at that. He has the left leg of Colonel De Beers wrapped around that second rope and punishing it, punishing it, punishing it. Bockwinkel has taken control of this match now. He knows he is his man in trouble. And the sign of a champion, when that man is in trouble, you go to work on him. You work on the area that's hurting.
And he's hurting the leg right now. Bockwinkel, a man who's maintained the same body weight practically for the last 20 years in wrestling, always in tremendous shape, takes a pride in his condition, a pride in his wrestling ability, and you can see it every time he makes a move or steps in the ring. I don't have to tell you, Rod, you don't have to tell the fans know it. He's a gentleman, a scholar, and was a true world champion.
Indeed, and he says he's going to be again. Hard shoulder block, Colonel De Beers. Look at that, drop toe hold, and again, Bockwinkel wrapping up, and again it is the left leg of Colonel De Beers, the leg that has taken a ton of punishment here over the past couple of minutes.
And of course, Rod, we said before, Bockwinkel, as I said before, he's working on a particular part of the body. He found out that the leg, I think he's found that left leg could be giving him a chance of victory, and he's working on it. They're all tied up now.
The cartilage and the ligament in that knee, yes, indeed, they're all tied up right now. And let's see where the advantage is. It has to be with Nick Bockwinkel.
The referee should break this. Will he break it?
He does. The wrestlers just can't do it themselves.
Well, it's just like in boxing where the referee pushes against a couple of boxers to break them up. But that doesn't happen, of course.
Bockwinkel paying the price there with a shot to the side of the head from Colonel De Beers, who has stunned the three-time former AWA champion.
But he's still limping, Rod, on his left leg. The Colonel's still limping on his left leg.
But he has, as we said before, stunned the former champion and has now taken advantage of this. Off the ropes. Hey!
Oh!
And there he goes again. And again he goes to work on the left leg of Colonel De Beers.
And the fans love it. Look at them enjoying wrestling from the Showboat here in Las Vegas, Nevada. US of A.
And it was Colonel De Beers banging into the eyes of Nick Bockwinkel, who is temporarily blinded. And De Beers knows now he has the former champion in trouble. Goes and attacks him with a double sledge from behind. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, outside of the ring goes Bockwinkel. Onto the cement floor. Down immediately in front of us.
Well, there's a count. Is the count on because he was thrown out. De Beers is stepping out of the ring. He's right over Bockwinkel. Stumps on the hand. Hits him on the head. Pounds him on the head again. And, of course, the referee bringing him back in the ring. And he could be disqualified if he continues the attack.
You see Bockwinkel on hands and knees, stunned. Trying to shake the cobwebs out now as Colonel De Beers reaches over. Oh, what a hammer! What a hammer!
Well, go ahead, Ron.
Across the chest of Nick Bockwinkel. He has him tied up in the ropes, and again, he slams away with a tremendous forearm to the pectoral muscles of the former AWA heavyweight champion of the world. Now he bombs away to the head of Nick Bockwinkel.
Okay, that camera's right in there. A lot of people say, Lord, does it really hurt? Oh, my God. Does it hurt? Your chest aches for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Now the fans are screaming for Nick. Up in the air, the big body slam.
Oh, what a tremendous slam. A crashing slam to the canvas. Now De Beers to the second rope. De Beers up and
dives on his man.
He will hook the leg. He gets one. He gets two.
Ooh.
And the champion responds.
That was 2.5 or more.
Knee lift to the pit of the stomach.
Colonel De Beers now picks a scoop slam. Lays his man down. Here he goes.
Again. To the second rope. Bockwinkel. Laying prone in front of him. Bockwinkel and catches Colonel De Beers flush in the solar plexus. And now Bockwinkel, sensing that the tide has turned in his favor, goes on the attack.
And it could have been a bit lower than the solar plexus.
What a shot! 5 minutes remaining in the match. Bockwinkel ripping away. Bockwinkel bombs away with the head of De Beers to the top turnbuckle. Bockwinkel again across. A forearm smash. A quick cover on De Beers. 1, 2. He cannot get 3. Oh! And it is the knees of De Beers that come crashing one to one side, the other to the other side of the head of Bockwinkel, and Bockwinkel is suddenly stopped in his tracks.
These men have not stopped from a swing and a miss. Look at this. There's the count. 1, 2, 3. No.
So close, Lord James Beers. So very, very close off that backslide. And a headbutt to the midsection. And the air, some of it goes out of Bockwinkel, and some more went out there.
What De Beers is doing now is pushing his head, ramming his head in the midsection. He's going up again. He's going for his favorite jump. Here he goes. He's climbing. He's climbing higher. He's going all the way up. He dives on his man.
Look
up
at
and
this.
over.
A reversal. Bockwinkel, a quick cover. Bockwinkel looked like he had him for a moment on a very, very quick reversal. And now the whip. Down goes Bockwinkel. Up comes Bockwinkel. A double shoulder block. De Beers goes out of the ring. Bockwinkel flat on his back as they both took.
And we saw some pretty ladies enjoying the matches here at the Showboat. Bockwinkel runs across the ring head first, knocks his man in the midsection. Bockwinkel grabs his man now. He's going for a suplex. He grabs his man. He hooks him up in the air and up and over. It's a good one.
1, 2.
Oh.
Again the count.
Go. Not quite. Itchy. Knee. No, we'll count it in every language. But it's 1/20th of a minute. 3 seconds. A long time to hold someone down.
Both of these gladiators have taken tremendous punishment. That flying drop kick from a standing position by Colonel De Beers. Oh, Bockwinkel actually turns a somersault after his head is crashed into the canvas by Colonel De Beers, and a headbutt here by De Beers.
I believe Bockwinkel's hurt. There goes De Beers. Nick's shaking the cobwebs out. Bockwinkel's a fighting champion.
Bockwinkel rips him with a right to the heart. Again a right hand. Upstairs he goes. Bockwinkel almost on instinct. Now he has a cover and a count of 2. But he cannot put away the man from South Africa, the 265-pound Colonel De Beers. We're in the final 2 minutes of this match. Oh, what a knee to the solar plexus.
And it's a long time, Rod, since I've seen such a hard-fought match as this. A real pleasure to be able to sit down and talk about it.
This is real vintage punishment that these two are handing out. First one and then the other, and it looks like right now Bockwinkel has taken charge. Here is the Bockwinkel sleeper. Some call it a choke. Bockwinkel says no.
He's cutting off the carotid artery, the blood supply to the brain. Cut off the carotid artery, and you can have your man flipping his man. De Beers is going outside the ring to make the referee break it up. Bockwinkel still has the hold. He would have put De Beers, Colonel De Beers. Bockwinkel covers him. And they're fighting tooth and nail on the mat. Couldn't see that properly from my vantage point. There was a minute to go.
Bockwinkel took a tremendous shot to the head. Wow.
You know, they hit that mat so hard, Rod, the cameras shake.
Our table shakes. I shake. A reversal. Bockwinkel turning the tables on Colonel De Beers. He goes for the pinfall and gets a 2 count only. We're in the final minute. Colonel De Beers, Nick Bockwinkel.
No.
They hammer away at each other. Both of them stunned. In the final 30 seconds.
1, 2. Why Bockwinkel wants this match so bad.
Neither able to put the other away. They club away at each other. First De Beers, now Bockwinkel, now a quick cover. 2. Well, again, a count of 2. He cannot get it. It is all over. Wow, what a display. What a display of mental and physical toughness, of durability, of resiliency, of all that is needed, all that is necessary to be a championship wrestler.
It sure is, Rob. That's one of the finest matches I've had the pleasure of sitting here with you and talking about. Bockwinkel and De Beers, a fantastic match. Both men, tough, rugged, and great wrestlers.
Colonel De Beers, you see him walking around the ring, having a few unkind words, I'm sure, for Scott LeDoux, and we shall be right back.
Pizza? For here to go? Delivery. Lois!
You never believe me.
Pizza's here! Hey!
They had a little captain in them because they always designated driver.
Drink responsibly. Captain Morgan is proud to be made with Puerto Rican rum. Every Thursday night on ESPN Classic is Fight Night.
Look at that! Did you hear that?
Now with rarely seen Showtime clashes featuring modern rivalries.
Revenge! Redemption!
Non-stop action.
Hanging away with the left. Scoring at will.
And the champs who always deliver.
Here comes Ricky Hatton.
From the Showtime archive.
He's going in for the finish. He's over!
Championship Boxing. Thursdays at 8, only on ESPN Classic.
This is a photo of our first Lumber Liquidator store. We didn't have a fancy showroom or an expensive location. Our goal was simply to provide great hardwood flooring at the best possible prices anywhere. Today, as the largest direct retailer of hardwood flooring, we're still not fancy and a bit out of the way, but we continue to have the best hardwood flooring at incredible prices.
2 1/4-inch solid oak utility grade flooring, only 99 cents a square foot. Supreme pre-finished horizontal natural bamboo, just $1.99 a square foot.
Visit your local Lumber Liquidators or lumberliquidators.com.
I used to suffer from acne on my chest and back. The pimples were painful, unsightly, and embarrassing. But then, My dermatologist recommended Panoxyl Bar Acne Wash. Panoxyl Bar Acne Wash is a treatment that works two ways. It gently removes excess oil from skin to cleanse and unclog pores, while the benzoyl peroxide medication works to kill the bacteria that cause acne. You too can enjoy healthy, clearer skin with dermatologist recommended Panoxyl Bar Acne Wash.
Panoxyl Bar from Stiefel Labs is available at CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens.
And out on this 15-minute time limit match. No winner. It goes as a time limit draw between Nick Bockwinkel and Colonel De Beers. Nick Bockwinkel, upset, did not want to be interviewed. He has left. In the center of the ring now, we would like to have a chance to talk to the man from South Africa. Unable to get a win, and in fact it looked like saved by the bell in the battle against Nick Bockwinkel. Now you can't tell me that American can't wrestle, Colonel.
You know, every American has to have an advantage when he steps into the ring or he steps into world politics. Bockwinkel carries a bullwhip. That means that he is gutless. The only people on the face of the earth that are not gutless and are not afraid to stand up and say what they feel are those from the Republic of South Africa.
You were unable to pin Nick Bockwinkel and gain the victory. As a matter of fact, he had you in what looked like a pin position when time ran out and saved you from defeat.
Nothing saves me from defeat. You see, that's the way you Americans are. You put time limits on everything. You put time limits on your marriages. You put time limits on contracts. And you put time limits on wrestling. In South Africa, sir, we wrestle until there is a winner because we are real men. Not men who hide behind their women. Not men who attack third world countries at the top of the African continent.
It looked to me like if they'd have wrestled till the end of it with one more second, Nick Bockwinkel could have won it.
I would have won.
We'll be right back.
South Africa forever. South Africa. South Africa. That's where real men are at. You, madame, are probably a transvestite, I assume.